He goes, I have an idea, let's just burn it down. So that's pretty much what he did. How's it, guys? Welcome to Riga in Latvia. Jesus, this hotel is packed. We're just coming for breakfast. It's like 7:30 and all of these people are here for the breakfast. Jeez. Absolute carnage this morning. So check this table, right? There was a guy sitting here. So we came and we asked if we could have our table or if we could have this table, and he said, yeah, sure. So we put our stuff down. And a lady just came and tried to snake our table. And then she moved our juice across. And then when I said, no, my dad and I were going to sit here, she said, oh, but you have nothing. I said, yeah, because you moved it. Some people. For starters this morning, a cup of apple juice, some medusa, honey, and some oatmeal porridge. It's got the good low GI. What are you going for? Cottage cheese and grapefruits. For starters. For starters, very good. We're taking it in shifts to hold down the table now because there's predators everywhere. I'm gonna get some breakfast. There were some interesting items on the menu, but I just went for some scrambled eggs, some bacon, a little sausage with some questionable thing hanging off the end, and then some baked potatoes. How's your cottage cheese on a piece of cake?
Rather sweet.
Turns out, after one spoon, my dad realized it was whipped cream. We're back on the bridge of wind, evidently. I'm sure you can see the things flapping behind me in the background. There's one coming now. But we found a little tour, a free walking tour in the city. So we are on our way to that. Here we go. This is the meeting point. The monument to this guy. Check out the gold dome on that church. You can see it from our hotel actually. When the sun's already set, it still looks like the sun is setting because it's just popping off. But I think, yeah, Rainis monument. So I'll give you guys the breakdown. This is Jānis Rainis. The reason why he's the most famous Latvian author is because he's one of the few authors that was allowed to publish books under all the different regimes and different governments and whatever. Also, he is one of the few authors that has been translated into English, so obviously that makes him famous around the world. And yeah, that's why they got that monument there to him. We're already off onto the next thing. That's our group. Bigger group than in Vilnius, but it's looking good. It's warm. I put on my sun cream. Now I would love to do a tour in those things. That'd be good. Fun fact that we just learned. When it gets over 27 degrees, you basically get like the opposite of a snow day. You get like a heat day, a Sunday. Sunday, hey. Yeah, day off, Sunday. That's beautiful. This church with the gold dome. Just in case that wasn't clear, what I was saying was that if it's over 27 degrees, you don't actually have to go to work. So our tour guide was saying that her mom works for the ministry. In May, they had a very hot month, so she got like half the month off just because every day it was constantly reaching that 27 degree threshold. And I think that's pretty good because when it's hot, I know I can't work for sure. I wanted to show you guys inside the church, but as you can see, a bunch of things not allowed. I even had to take my hat off, but it is beautiful in there. You'll just have to trust me or come check it out yourself. Because we're standing in the sun, I've given my dad my hat. I think he looks pretty fly.
It's one of the princes.
One of the princes?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so who is this man?
It's one of the princes. Okay, so we got our little lesson. And people were noting that this looked like Napoleon, but it was actually an enemy of Napoleon, Prince Michael Barclay de Tolly. And South Africans will get why that's funny. But what he did, the reason why this monument is here of him, is because he actually saved Riga during Napoleon's crusade, whatever, in his efforts to conquer, Paris to Moscow. So Napoleon was on his way, coming along on his horse, clippity-cloppity, heading for Riga and Moscow, because in the Soviet Union, Riga was the third largest city. So Napoleon's on his way, and then this guy comes along, and everyone's like, how do we save the city? He goes, I have an idea, let's just burn it down. So that's pretty much what he did. They burnt down large parts of the city so that they didn't have any shelter, and the French weren't going to survive in minus 30 degrees Celsius and in snow and whatever. So they just bypassed Riga. And the reason why that statue is still there is because they obviously there was a lot of destruction and they left 10,000 people homeless, but a positive side effect many years later is that Riga is one of the greenest capitals in the world. If you look around here, these are parks, but this is also where people's homes used to be. These were the suburbs. So that all the suburbs got burnt down. A lot of the industry stayed because obviously that's the people with money who were like, whoa, we're not burning down our factories and our shelters and whatever. So that all stayed, but now there's just lots of parks because the burnt areas were never rebuilt. So, I mean, kind of cool, interesting history, but yeah, as she said, in the Soviet Union, human rights weren't really human rights were a luxury. So we've now come to Albertstraat, I think it's like Albert Street or something, and it's famous for having all or most of its buildings done in a art, she's saying Nouveau, like, I think she's meaning to say Art Nouveau, where it's just a mishmash of, you know, cultures and whatever. Like you got, I don't know what those are up there, but you've got a sphinx down here, then you've got that chick over there, belly dancer, then over there you've got lions at the top and like people and everything, and it's all just very interesting and mishmash. As soon as people got money, they got a little bit excited. So this disco snail, it didn't always look like this, but the tour guide was saying that there's no museum for contemporary art in Latvia, or maybe it was just in Riga, but I feel like if there isn't one in Riga, then there's probably not one in Latvia. So anyway, artists got together and they made 35 of these to make like a statement. So they made 35 of those snails in all sorts of different colors and bright colors, just as like a fun sort of action that they wanted to take to try and get government and the Ministry of Culture and whatever to get a museum of modern art or contemporary art, because obviously the pieces and the whatever, the exhibitions are usually quite big, and so yeah, there was just no place to hold them. So they put those snails there, and with a note attached saying help contemporary art to move in Latvia. The snails weren't attached, they're made out of very light plastic, so people were encouraged to move them around, which obviously led to, you know, drunk people moving them for fun and whatever. But then there were also some more targeted movements where they moved them into like the garden of the Minister of Culture, being like giving them a hint. Yeah, so I just thought it was a cool little, I like that. Over here we've got some people singing some songs because on the 21st it's the summer solstice, so it's the longest day in the world everywhere. Well, where is it? In the northern hemisphere. Longest day, summer solstice, northern hemisphere, 21st of June. So they have a festival here. There's a whole heritage thing to it, but I won't get into it. But all these people will be singing for the next 3 hours in traditional garb. So yesterday we were on the other side of this, and that's where the piece of the thing just stops, and I was like, this must be an Old Town Wall. Guess who was right? Me. Tour's over, so we've headed for lunch and we're coming to this place. The only thing we know about it is that it is actually a restaurant. The bridge is here, so when we're walking across the bridge we just see big restaurants sign. That is what has swung our decision. Oh, but there's more underneath. Restaurant, brewery, now we're talking. There's the bridge that I was telling you about. Well, you know the bridge by now, surely. I hope this is open. My kind of place. They got music, a little bit of Queen, and France versus Australia and Peru versus Daneland. The game just finished, which is what I was focused on, which is why I wasn't vlogging, but the beers have arrived. It's beer time. I have no idea what type this is. We just asked for a lager. Hey?
Starogrod.
Yeah? Means Old Town. Okay. That one's nice. That one's nice. Also, all the beers are made on the property. So they have 2 Danish beers, I think, that they make on the property. But we went for the Latvian ones, which they also make on the property. And our beers came with the side order of the seeds that didn't stick to the bread. Eh? No, these are nice though. They remind me of rye bread. Food has arrived, and my dad got a small pork knee. You know, small Czech knee. What did they say? Czech small pork knee. That's the one. And I just went for ribs. It looks like a smaller portion than I was planning on, but should still be good. These potatoes look amazing, and I'm hoping they're going to be amazing. I mean, look at them. Can you see that? So one thing that I haven't actually told you guys about before, sorry, the music's quite loud in here. In Poland, you get these very yellow potatoes that you almost don't even need to have butter with. They're great with butter, but you don't need to actually have butter with because they're moist and buttery and and these look like the ones that I'm familiar with, so and hot. There's like a sweetness. How's your knee and sauerkraut?
Knees a little bit dry.
Oh, that's a bit sad. It looks moist from the outside, but that's just the, I guess, the skin. These ribs, this honestly just fell off the bone. I'm very excited to try this. Look at that. Oh my word. Oh my, it's falling apart. It's like in 7 different pieces. Yes.
Everything good?
Amazing, thank you. That is quality rib. It was me complaining that it was smaller than I was expecting, and I'm struggling to finish this. It's actually had such a nice, but it was very fatty layer on top. I was instructed by my dad to come show you guys le pissoir, and it's a urinal with TV. That is genius. That's how you make longer queues in the bathroom.
You can follow your match.
Yeah, that's great. I wonder if they've got them in the stalls as well. So that was pretty good. All around pleasant experience there. Plenty of TVs, got the sports on. So if you find yourself wanting to watch a sports in Latvia and you happen to be in Riga and you want beer and some good ribs, that is the place to be. A little bit specific, but you never know. You might find yourself in that situation. Perfect. We've got Iceland, Argentina in the background there. I found a nice legal stream. I mean, completely legal stream of the Sky Sports playing the rugby, South Africa, England. That's why we came to Latvia. We have left the hotel and we are actually on the river, the pointy cable river. We're just taking the sneaky lift. Also, I've got my camera, taking some photos. There it is. I don't know if I've given you guys a proper perspective of it yet, but that's the bridge. Sun's over there, which means it's going to set over there, but only in about 2 hours. This is still Paris time, so plus an hour to this. We'll see. I wouldn't mind to get a photo where the bridge is the foreground and the sunset is just banging in the background. So I'm going to head down this direction. As I said, we've still got plenty of time, so we're just going to check it out, do a little recce, and then possibly head back or just sit somewhere. Yeah, I've parted ways with my dad because I'm going to wait for the sun to set behind that bridge and try and get a nice photo, but we're still about 45 minutes away. My cell phone's out of data, don't have anything to do, so I'm just going to sit and enjoy it. I've sat for how long? I'm not sure. I didn't actually look at my watch last time I looked at it, but we've got this cloud bank rolling in. The sun is just ducked behind another little bank of clouds there, but the lower and lower it gets, the better it should be, because it doesn't look like there's anything on the horizon. And let me show you what I'm going for. This is just the sort of general photo that I want. The bridge in there, whether it's zoomed in, zoomed out. That's when the sun was a little bit higher. Yeah, that's just kind of what I'm going for. I should take some landscape ones and then I can, excuse me, I should take some landscape ones and then I can include them in the vlog. Sunset update, that's what we're dealing with. I've come onto this other bridge now. There's that Eiffel Towery, not Eiffel Towery thing. Still busy, noisy cars, the sun is slowly going down. What do we got? Almost 10. Alright, I'm ignoring my own advice here by leaving my post before the sun sets over, just because I don't see it popping off considering all that cloud coverage that's down there, and those clouds have moved off as well, so I'm going to look for a different photo. These guys having an absolute joel. Not familiar with the song, but must be good. Even though in my photography tips video I said shoot the whole sunset. If you're going to shoot the sunset, stay for the whole sunset. I could kind of tell, my gut feeling was saying that it wasn't going to turn out the best, so I bailed a little bit on it. But if I got any good photos, I will pop them in, and you can let me know what you think. Guys, I'm going to sign off here so that I don't forget, like last night. We're just watching a movie, reading a book, doing all sorts of things. But I wanted to give a shout out to the tour because, I'll put the details in, but it's a free Riga culture tour. And like I said when we were in Vilnius, you should definitely look into doing some free tours. But I will check you guys in the morning for another Slice of Matt. Tallinn, Estonia. We are here. We are entering the city, kind of. Hey, hunchbacky boy clapping the tunes. Well, spicy oxtail soup has arrived. I can see the garlic in there. Looks delicious, Dad. Give it a taste and give me a review there.